These homes include apartments for longtime residents, as well as new island residents. They are homes that are affordable to a wide, an unusually wide range of incomes, which we are very proud of. For folks who have an extremely low income, which we can never build enough of, all the way through the elusive middle income. And I want to start our celebration today in recognizing our partners, an incredible group of organizations that have been working for decades, literally for decades, here on Treasure Island, some of them starting in the 1990s. This includes One Treasure Island. Yeah, today is all about celebrating, guys. Treasure Island Development Authority, Catholic Charities, and Treasure Island Development Group. Yeah. They have all been critical in bringing the vision of Treasure Island into being. A vision of economic opportunity, integration, and vibrancy. A vision of what can be achieved through public-private partnerships. A vision of ensuring that long-term residents continue to have affordable homes as the island also welcomes new residents and businesses. Yeah, it's a great vision, right? This is our shared vision. And it's equally important to recognize the city of San Francisco, not just for taking full advantage of the McKinney Act in the 1990s, way back when, they had vision even then, but for making good and moving forward on that vision of housing for folks experiencing homelessness, of mixed income communities, and economic and workforce development. And with the city in mind, I want to bring up our first speaker, Matt Dorsey, our San Francisco District 6 representative on the Board of Supervisors. Standing ovation before you even talk.
Thank you so much. And welcome to District 6, everybody. Welcome to Treasure Island. I have been on the Board of Supervisors for 2.5 years, and I want to tell you why this particular event is special. Because this is the event where this was my first groundbreaking. And it's nice now to see a dedication. I will say that, for the early part of my time on the Board of Supervisors, whenever I would go to a ribbon cutting or opening or something, I would kind of have to acknowledge, I think my go-to line was that I felt like I was the Rosie Ruiz of this event. For those of you who don't know that obscure reference, Rosie Ruiz won the 1980 Boston Marathon until they discovered that she jumped into the race in the last quarter mile and won it. So I always felt like I was coming in at the end and taking credit for other people's work. And not that I've done any work on this but I will say now I feel like I'm seeing these projects come to fruition. And that really is the story of what we're seeing here on Treasure Island. The promise of this extraordinary community that means so much to our citywide housing goals in terms of fulfilling the promise of our housing element and building those 82,000 units that we have committed to the state to build as our RHNA goals. 10% of that, or nearly 10%, will be right here on Treasure Island. And every time I come here, it's just great to see what's happening on the island. But I will tell you, whenever I talk about Treasure Island, the thing that I always want to emphasize is how important this community is to me. When I came to the Board of Supervisors, this wasn't the career plan that I worked on for much of my life. It wasn't really in the plan that I was aspiring to be an elected office holder. It was my personal journey in recovery from addiction. And when I was appointed to the board against the backdrop of some of the challenges we're facing with a drug crisis and a record-shattering level of drug overdoses, it was because politics was personal to me. And there wasn't really a playbook to run for office as a recovering addict. And there were communities where it didn't go over well, and then there were some communities that really embraced me and that understood me. And Treasure Island was that community. And I will tell you this, as I came in today and gave Melanie a hug, this is a community where this is a community that has such a rich tradition of the reentry community and the recovery community and the possibilities of redemption. And this is so much about what the promise of the city of St. Francis is. This community means the world to me. So I want to say to how grateful I am to Mercy Housing, to Catholic Charities, to Treasure Island Development Authority, One Treasure Island, for everything that you're doing for the 138 units of mixed income housing here. This is part of some of the great things that we're doing, and it's just an honor to be here and to be a part of this. And to those of you who are residents, I brought some cards. Talk to me afterwards, get them. As I was handing them out, I'm saying, here's my card. Call and complain. No hard feelings. I know the job I signed up for, and if I don't hear from you, I'll assume you're good with everything. Okay. Thanks so much, everybody. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Supervisor Dorsey. I suspect you will run out of cards by the time you get out of here, because we know that Treasure Island residents are proud and advocates for their community. The city has contributed to Treasure Island's development in many ways, including the creation of the Treasure Island Development Authority, or TIDA. And Faye Sen is currently the board president of TIDA. Faye's own work as CEO of Windflower Properties, her experience developing multifamily housing, really perfectly positioned her to guide TIDA's work overseeing the design and implementation of the island's infrastructure, which is a massive project, the streetscapes, and the open space. Faye?
138 brand new apartments. Woo! This is the second affordable housing project to be completed on Treasure Island. Maceo May was the first for formerly homeless veterans, but this is the first to be built for families. And so it is a milestone. And it is part of TIDA's commitment to provide new replacement housing for longtime residents who are currently living on Treasure Island, but also to welcome new households to TI. We are building a whole new community here on Treasure Island. By next year, 2025, we will have completed about 1,000 new apartments, 974 apartments to be exact. And of the 974 units, 30% will be affordable and inclusionary units. That is a remarkable achievement. And in over several decades, the plan is for 8,000 new homes. But I tell you, right now on Treasure Island, we are actually building the most new housing for the city of San Francisco. It's right here on Treasure Island. So this community is by design a mixed income neighborhood. Without our guidance, only market rate luxury housing would be built. But the goal of providing housing for all levels of income was baked into our plan for the island. The development of this island is being watched across the country as a model for sustainable community development. And we have already earned a LEED Platinum designation and an award from the Clinton Climate Initiative for our progressive and sustainable plan. Right across the way, we are under construction for the magnificent Cityside Park, which stretches along the waterfront and with those spectacular views of the bay, of the city, of Golden Gate Bridge. It is really an incredible addition to this island, and that's going to be finished in late 2025. And inside that park, we have chosen the next art installation by an acclaimed regional artist, Ned Khan, a sculpture that harnesses the power of the wind. And if there's a place for a wind sculpture, it's here on Treasure Island. So we are building new roads and connections to the Bay Bridge. We have finished the ferry landing and the improvements around that transit center so that island residents will have access to different modes of transportation. So I would like to thank, first of all, the staff and board at TIDA, The Treasure Island Development Authority is the public entity that is responsible for implementing the master plan and vision for Treasure Island. Kudos to the Executive Director of TIDA, Bob Beck. Bob Beck, stand up, Bob. My fellow director, Linda Richardson, is here. I don't know if there's other directors here today, but this is a hardworking commission. And then a big thank you to our partners who are building the housing, the market rate housing, our development partners, Treasure Island Community Development, and we are very grateful to you for what you've done to date. Part of that 1,000 units of housing is really through your efforts. So Charles Shin and Chris Meany, thank you. And to our partners at Mercy Housing, who has the commitment and the expertise to build and finance affordable housing. Something like this takes an immense amount of efforts of putting together all different types of financing sources, and Mercy Housing certainly has that expertise. And to our partners at Catholic Charities, who provide the supportive services because our most vulnerable residents, housing alone is not enough. So to Catholic Charities, thank you. And finally, you know, the architects are never mentioned at these ceremonies. And I've got to say, in the Bay Area in San Francisco, we are blessed to have really incredible, dedicated architects who actually design these beautiful buildings to give dignity to the people who live there and who understand that good design is important, not just for the rich, but also for the poor. And so we thank you, Paulette Taggart, and the team there for designing this incredible complex. Thank you so much. And I know Nibby Brothers is here, and Nibby I've known for a long time, and they were the contractors who built this. So thank you all. But I hope that all of you who live here, who will work here, you will understand how important it is to be part of this island as it grows. And we count on your support at TIDA. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Faye. I want to recognize just a few more folks on the TIDA team: Natalie Bonowit, Joey Benassini, and Jamie Karibun. And as TIDA has been planning for and building out the physical environment on the island, Catholic Charities and One Treasure Island have been planning for and supporting the social and economic experiences of the residents. So next, I want to bring up Eric Brown, Deputy Director of Catholic Charities. Catholic Charities, yeah. I'm going to just say a little bit about Catholic Charities as Eric comes up. They've been here working on the island for over 20 years and will support 71 of the Starview households so that those households settle into and thrive in their new homes. Catholic Charities is rolling deep here today, and we're so glad to have you as part of the team. Thank you. Eric?
Yeah, thank you. Well, I did have a slight speech, and be sure to tell the mayor I said hello.
And you're a little taller.
I'm a little taller. There you go. Very warm welcome to everyone who's here today. I want to appreciate Dr. Ellen Hammerly, wherever she is here in the building, our executive director, and my family at Mercy and at Catholic Charities, the board of directors, the leadership in the community, and everyone who's had a part in what's happened here today. On October 10, 2000, I started my tenure at Catholic Charities. And it is so fitting that one day before, we're opening up the doors officially for Catholic Charities. So thank you for coming to my anniversary. When I started here, I got the walk and the talk with Nella. So, the conversation was, well, construction will start next week, next month, in 3 months, 6 months, and next year. So it's been an ongoing thing with Sherry and Nell and I about this coming off, and it has finally happened. After a bazillion meetings, wringing of hands, and 25 years later, we're here, and you guys can see the housing and how it's all come together. So, making it short and quick, on behalf of Catholic Charities, I want to welcome everyone to this monumental occasion, and we appreciate your participation and look forward to your contributions for the years to come. Thank you.
Okay, even the sun showed up for Eric's anniversary party. I do also want to just thank Felicia Harris, Gabby Lopez, and the entire case management team at Catholic Charities. Really doing amazing work. Yeah. So as you can imagine, communities of this scale and beauty require significant investment. I want to take a moment to thank our financial partners, some of whom you'll hear from shortly. Thank you to Citibank for their $83 million construction loan and innovative $15 million permanent loan that incorporated the city's continuum of care subsidy. Thank you to the San Francisco Department of Homelessness and Supportive Housing that provided that continuum of care funding. To the Housing Authority that committed project-based vouchers. To MoCDs for their $33 million investment that was really catalytic early money. And a special thank you to Cindy Heavens and Holly Faust from MoCD, who worked tirelessly on this project. And thank you to the State Department of Housing and Community Development, who provided an accelerator loan from a new program that was over $55 million. The Housing Accelerator is one of the most impactful housing programs we've seen from the state in the last few years, and we're proud to be one of the early projects coming out of it. HCD also administered nearly $14 million in affordable housing and sustainable communities funds. These are funds that come from the Strategic Growth Council cap and trade program and really made an impactful difference here at Starview Court. And we're going to hear from HCD next. Tyrone Buckley is joining us. He's the Deputy Director for Legislation at HCD and a longtime housing policy pro, having spent time at Housing California and the Sacramento Housing Alliance before joining HCD in 2020. Tyrone?
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having HCD to this event. It feels like I'm at someone's family event. You can tell how deeply connected you all are. I actually have personal memories of Treasure Island. My mom was military when I was growing up, and so we would come down here on her weekend warrior days, and I'd be skateboarding around these streets, and I think hanging out at a bowling alley, if I remember. So it's so exciting to see this wonderful development. Again, my name's Tyrone Buckley. I'm Deputy Director of Legislation at HCD, and I want to thank and congratulate Mayor London Breed, the City and County of San Francisco, Mercy Housing, Catholic Charities, City Community Capital, and the Treasure Island Development Authority on the department's behalf for their work in turning a vision into reality. Addressing California's affordable housing and homelessness crisis is a top priority for Governor Newsom and the administration. And Starview Courts is an example of that commitment. Projects like this address housing challenges through innovative partnerships, funding, and policy to ensure every Californian can access affordable housing. And you see that here in the mixed income element of this development. This administration has brought unprecedented resources, and I could say that simply. They talked a little bit about my history as a housing advocate. There's been tremendous investment in the last few years, and we're really proud of that, including $55 million from the California Housing Accelerator Program here to Starview Court. In fact, this project was actually the first development to close with financing from the Accelerator program, so that's really exciting. The Housing Accelerator program brought $1.75 billion in financing to get affordable housing projects funded, and that ultimately funded about 5,000 units. These funds don't represent a temporary fix, and I think Starview is a good example of that. Starview and other projects are delivering comprehensive, long-term solutions through housing paired with supportive services. This is about more than just housing. It's about restoring stability, rebuilding lives, and ensuring that every Californian has a place to call home. I appreciate your energy. In partnership with other state agencies, including the Strategic Growth Council, HC has brought over $100 million in investments to Treasure Island to create more inclusive, affordable communities that allow current residents to remain here and serve future generations. Starview Court builds on the rich history of San Francisco and ensures that residents that have built Treasure Island into what it is today can continue to remain here. But here in San Francisco and throughout California, we know that much more work remains to be done. I encourage those city and county partners here and throughout California to continue to match the intensity of this crisis and dedication and meet the challenge before us. Lastly, on behalf of HCD, I want to express best wishes to all here today who now call Starview Court home. I hope you enjoy your new life here and that your experience will be as transformational as this renewed and remarkable development.
Thanks, Tyrone. I just want to check, is Matt Reed out there somewhere? Okay, we were hoping that Matt was going to be able to join us from the Strategic Growth Council today. Again, the Strategic Growth Council has the responsibility of investing the state's cap and trade dollars into affordable housing and community resilience, and we're happy to have their support here at Starview. The complexity of the financing for projects like this, the number of funders and individuals it takes to fund properties like Starview, is matched, if not slightly outdone, by the complexity and the detail in the development, the design, and the construction work. I want to thank our design and construction team, Paulette Taggart Architects, Gonzalo Castro Construction Manager, and Nibby, our general contractor. Thank you for making this a reality. And I have to thank the amazing and tireless team at Mercy Housing, or at least some of them, because it is also a big team and a deep bench that I'm so proud of. Evelyn Perdomo, Elizabeth Kuwata, Priscilla Tapia, Rami Dare, Nabiha Azim, Barbara Gualco, Lucinda Phillips, Jamar Martin, and Hector Ulloa. Thank you so much for your work. And before I bring up our next speaker, I actually want to recognize her predecessor and a Treasure Island stalwart. Sherry Williams served as the executive director of One Treasure Island for decades and was one of the key vision holders and vision implementers. Please give Sherry a round of applause and appreciation. Stand up. And I'm so happy to say that One Treasure Island continues under strong leadership. Nella Goncalves has served San Francisco's low-income families for over 25 years. For 17 of those years, she served as the homeless and housing director at Catholic Charities. So you can see the ties here on Treasure Island run very deep. She's now the executive director at One Treasure Island. Yeah. And her commitment to the island and its residents make her a valuable partner to Mercy and our other island organizations, and the perfect person to come up to say a few words and to introduce our resident speakers. Nella?
good morning. I didn't think I'd be this emotional. This has been a long time coming. Again, my name is Nella Gonsalves, Executive Director for One Treasure Island. I also want to shout out Sherry Williams. Under her leadership and mentorship, we are here today and we continue to be here for a long time coming. One Treasure Island is celebrating our 30-year anniversary this year, and Catholic Charities and Mercy Housing have been our members almost since inception. And I can't forget the great Barbara Gualco, who has been a member of our board of directors almost that long. I would also be remiss if I did not mention our affordable housing champion, Natalie Bonowit, who's been involved with the affordable housing on Treasure Island since 1999, or like she'd like to say, so last century. We're truly grateful to Catholic Charities and Mercy Housing for all the hard work to create this amazing housing. And for me, as you've heard, Starview Court project is especially close to my heart, as I was hired February 1st, 2000, and have been dreaming of this day ever since. So speaking of today, I want to bring up some of the residents of Starview Court. So first, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Atta. Atta Pilram is a multidisciplinary artist and entrepreneur who has founded and co-founded several startups contributing to the intersection of science, technology, and business. He's a long-term resident of Treasure Island and Yerba Buena Island, where he has served on the Treasure Island Yerba Buena Island Citizens Advisory Board. That's a mouthful. Yes, for over 15 years. And he's currently serving as the vice chair. So everyone, Atta.
Thank you very much for everything everybody's done to bring this beautiful place to reality. I'm actually living on the 4th floor right here, and I always appreciate all the beautiful architectural design that went into this place here. I also like to acknowledge the job and the great job of the Starview Management Office here. They are excellent group of people here, and I know it's going to be a tremendous type of activities here every day by keeping everybody in, basically to work everybody together here and make this place as beautiful and as nice as it is here. As I mentioned, I've been here for at least about 22 years. My wife and I, we moved here many, many years ago. We quickly got involved with many kind of activities on the island. In fact, if you remember that, the first, not flea market, but almost the first, had it in the, that's right, I still have the poster of it. And quickly I got involved with the Citizen Advisory Board to bring in some of the new ideas to the group. And I also got involved with one of the oldest businesses on the island, Treasure Island Yacht Club. And I'm also got involved with Treasure Island Museum and bringing in a number of different type of opinions and input from all different kind of sector of the people that live here on the island. But thank you very much, and we're looking forward to see a next project. Take care.
So before I bring up Agnes Boyd, I just want to say this is a really special project. I look out into the crowd and I see all the faces of people that have touched this project in one way or another. And I am very, very grateful to have the honor of working with folks from the developer to TIDA to Catholic Charities to Mercy to the residents to the staff. It's a beautiful project. So I want to thank all of you for all the work that you've done on this project. So now I'd like to introduce Miss Agnes Boyd. Agnes is a longtime Treasure Island resident and recipient of Catholic Charities Supportive Housing. One of the first residents, having moved to Treasure Island on December 28th, 1999. Agnes raised 2 children on the island as a single mom and has prospered here. Ms. Boyd is a vibrant member of our Treasure Island community, and we are excited to welcome her into her new home at Starview Court.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. I am Agnes. I would just like to, because I came out here, like Nella said, December 28, 1999. I still had a lot of bad behavior because I was a drug addict for 25 years. And I learned at 50 years old from Nella, Eric, Felicia, and there were a lot of other, it was a big turnaround for Catholic Charities, but I learned, and most of all, my present counselor, Miss Laverne Vaughn, I can call her anytime. I'm 71 now, and I'm still up for learning because you never get too old to learn. So I would just like to thank those that I mentioned. Okay, my history here on Treasure Island, I was honored when they said, well, Agnes, you're going to Treasure Island. I was with, I think it was Compass Family Center. Then some kind of way I got connected with Catholic Charities, which was an honor. I didn't know because I was just came down to California from Houston, Texas, where I was born. And we didn't have none of this down there. They don't help you like they help you here in California. So when they showed me my apartment over on 1403 Sturgeon, Unit F, hey, it was nice. I say, oh boy, because I slept on the streets of San Francisco. I've slept in driveways up on Ellis Street in the Tenderloin. And I had 2 adult daughters, but I turned around and had 2 minor daughters that I was dragging around the streets of San Francisco, sleeping on the streets until one day a lady told me, she said, you know what, you better get those kids off the streets before they take them from you. Well, she showed me a shelter over in the Fillmore area, the Western Addition, I think it was, and I went there, but I didn't stay long because them drugs was calling me, and I went back out with those girls that are adults now here on Treasure Island. It's peaceful here. It's just a place where you can just relax and enjoy life. You know, this is my life here, Starview Court, because this is my last destination, I'm sure, before I go up yonder. So, yeah. Well, however, yeah, I have a lot of challenges here, you know, because like I said, when I came out here, I still had that old mentality and old drug behavior, and I just was a mess. But I appreciate the counselors that stuck by me and held me, and if it wasn't my children, one of my daughters getting into fights, you know, they could have just said, okay, well, you're a worthless cause. We don't want that stuff out here. However, they did not. They held me and kept me. And I'm here with knowledge of how to live when you live better, you do better. And what I can say for the residents here and myself is simply to live your life and mind your own business. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Atta and Agnes, for sharing your stories and for bringing real life to the island and to Starview Court. I next want to introduce someone who doesn't really need an introduction, so I'll take a moment to express our appreciation. Mayor Breed knows island life firsthand, and she has held fast to the shared vision of economic integration, of inclusion, of true public-private partnership here on the island. Thank you, Mayor Breed.
How's everybody doing today? I gotta say, this has been a long time coming. And I wanna really appreciate Miss Agnes for sharing her story. And I love that mind your own business. I love that. We are gathered here today in Treasure Island after such a long time. And I gotta say, as someone who started work right out of college back in 1997, 98, I had one of my first jobs here on Treasure Island at Building 1, working for the Treasure Island Development Authority. I had several jobs, in fact, working as the administrative assistant, office manager, the commission secretary, a development specialist, and on occasion, a janitor and facilities manager, and everything you can think of at a time before the island was even populated. And I go back to the days of working with Sherry so many years ago, before Treasure Island, one Treasure Island was one Treasure Island, it was tie-dye. And when I think about all the things we talked about and what we wanted to see happen here, we had housing that was underutilized. We wanted to make it available to people who needed it the most. And I remember John Stewart, God rest his soul, who went above and beyond to make sure that then when families moved into Treasure Island, that they had resources, that they had access to transportation. There were so many things that we were struggling with over the years, but at the end of the day, there was a vision for where we wanted to go as an island, and we stayed steady. And it took so many folks that are joining us here today to help us achieve that vision of providing housing and amenities and access to good ramps off the freeway and you name it. I was in the midst of a lot of those fights. So to be here and to come to Treasure Island on a regular basis to open up new affordable housing for low-income veterans at Maceo May and to open the panoramic park at the top of Yerba Buena Island and to see more and more amenities come and Bay FC decide that this is where their training facility and offices will be. This is the first national women's soccer team of the Bay Area, and they will be on Treasure Island. To see all of this come to light as the island continues to grow and to develop and become a destination, whether it's a flea market, whether it's, activities and events and concerts and soccer games and Gaelic football, you name it, it happens here at Treasure Island. But at the end of the day, there's a community that lives here. And that is an important thing because all roads lead to housing. And when this project is completed, it will have 8,000 units with 2,200 units of affordable housing targeting people who need housing the most from One Treasure Island, Catholic Charities, Mercy, and other groups that we have worked with over the years to follow through with the commitment to make sure that people have a safe, affordable place to call home. So I want to thank all of you for being here today, and I want to ask Tyrone to send a message to Tamika Moss, to Gustavo, to Governor Newsom. Thank you very much, and we have been the beneficiary of so many state resources. We have been the beneficiary of the Housing Accelerator Fund that has been a game changer to get these projects done fast. We have been the beneficiary of new state legislation so that we can pass laws that allow for us to borrow the money on the front end for infrastructure so that we don't stop these projects from moving forward. And we have been the beneficiary of the voters of San Francisco who have gone above and beyond to approve affordable housing bonds. This project comes from a 2019 affordable housing bond, one of the first I put on the ballot as mayor, and one that is yielding remarkable results. I can go on and on and on, but I gotta say, I am so happy, I'm so proud, and I am so excited about the future of Treasure Island and what it will be as a new community of San Francisco. New to some, but old to some. The people who have lived here, who have suffered through the process and the infrastructure issues, the power outages, and all the different problems, you name it. I am so excited that this is going to be one of the best neighborhoods of San Francisco because of the investments we've made and because of projects like the one today. So thank you and congratulations. We're looking forward to more to come. You guys are living here. It's your place. All right, are we ready? Yes. Starting with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. All right. Okay. Wonderful. I didn't see you. Thank you. All right. Nice.
Oh, thank you.
Wow. This is amazing.
I got you.